Habari Entertainment proudly presents Habari Live. Habari Live. From Phoenix, Arizona. And you're listening to the Habari Live podcast, the show that brings you news, sports, and entertainment for people who love HabariEntertainment.com. Here are your hosts, Iesha, Jimmy, and Damon Dipleen Ellison. Let's get it going. We are all the way live.
Yeah, you might want to. Yeah, we good. Yo, what's up with it? Another day. Politics and news and, everything that goes on in the world. We're trying to get you guys updated to what's going on and, give our opinion and our view and tell you how we feel about what the things that are going on. And today we have a couple subjects we want to talk about. Some of the violence, the narrative, and the just the political rhetoric that goes on nowadays, and just seeing some of the bull that we have to navigate through in America. And we're also going to talk about something boring, but taxes and the deficit, and just how the deficit is being it's exploding under Republicans, like always. The guys that yell and scream about the deficit the most, but every time they're in office, they go start spending like crazy people, and they can't stop doing anything, and the deficit explodes because they want to give tax cuts to the rich. And we're just going to talk about that, and get into the normal news of the day. But first, and do what we do, man. But I've already got in my people, man. I'm Damon Dipleen Ellison, and always, before we jump into today's headlines, we want to start with something deeper, something that sits at the intersection of tragedy, media, politics, and narrative. My bad. Let's go into the top stories from Iesha and what she got today.
For sure, you just forgot all about that I was even here this week.
I didn't forget.
Yes, you did. Anywho, the administration of President Donald Trump has ordered the restoration of a slavery-related George Washington Museum exhibit that had been removed in Philadelphia. Officials say that the move is aimed at preserving historical context, while critics are arguing that the decision reignites debate over how America presents its founding history. The exhibit is expected to return following a federal review. What do you think about that?
I think it's insane, man, that we're even going through this. The judge said this is some Orwellian 1984, but yeah, we all know that that's what this is, man. It's craziness, dude. And this guy want to rewrite history the way that he wants to rewrite history. It's just ridiculous. It's sad. We are looking at this shit, man, and our kids will read about Trump and MAGA and see how they wanted to, how many times they tried to remove black people and natives and gay people from the books, and think that their problems are because of our existence, because we are here and we have books and we have stories about our time and our ancestors' time in America, and they don't want to see that. I mean, it's crazy. I'm happy this judge, who is a Bush appointed judge, so a Republican judge, said this is ridiculous. There's no reason, man, for this crap. These stories are already known, man. What is the reason to try to take them down? What do you think it's doing? I just don't understand their logic, man. It's just whitewash the story when we've already fought through this.
Right.
We've already been through this. Why do we have to rehash all of these issues that we figured out on our own already? It's pretty silly to me, man. But that's what's going on, man. And I'm happy that the system is holding. And we have this authoritarian president who wants to make everything in his views and he wants to change history to his view. I'm just happy that the judges are standing up in most situations, man, and fighting against this crap, man. Because
Me too.
This shit is amazing.
Right.
They'll write about it in the future, man, and we'll people will learn about this time and how authoritarianism can and is happening in America.
Moving on, in California, Governor Gavin Newsom is expanding the state's free preschool initiative, announcing broader eligibility and increased funding designed to help more working class families access early childhood education. The state's leaders are saying that the expansion could potentially add thousands of new seats over the next year.
That's pretty dope, man. That's pretty cool. Well, I mean, I can answer your question. He's trying to change history by diluting it, by removing the stories that has happened, removing the access. When you're removing stories from parks, it's removing a story that when the people would come there, they would learn about those things. And if he removes that history, that removes a lesson that could have been taught to the kids that are coming to those parks and visiting to those parks. So you have to think about him removing history is the way he is trying to change history by going to the museums, taking away displays that have things on it that has been disparaging towards the white race, as he says. I mean, the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter if it's disparaging towards any person. The story is the story, and he's trying to whitewash those stories by removing them and try to put up stories that are a little bit more sanitized and make the white race look a little better. And that's how you change history. And we've already seen that in a lot of different situations through history, where a lot of things were just forgotten about or not written about because, it made them look bad and feel bad. So they changed it up.
Mm-hmm. Moving on, here in Arizona, teachers could soon face major labor changes. New Republican-backed proposals in the state legislature would limit or eliminate the ability for public school teachers to strike and could also restrict some organizing protections. Supporters are saying that the measures protect students from classroom disruptions, while educators warn that the plan weakens their bargaining power. So basically saying that the teachers won't have the ability to go on strike or do anything, basically, to exercise their First Amendment rights as teachers.
Man, dude. Republicans hate teachers. I mean, they prove it. They think they can do the job in homeschool and they don't need teachers. Like, they disrespect teachers. They think teachers are stupid. They think teachers are indoctrinating their kids. They blame them for everything. They don't. I mean, look at Red for Ed. All those people went out, marched, did everything they could to try to get more money into the system.
Voted yes for it. It got approved.
And we all voted it. We all did everything. Republicans said no. They didn't want to give them the money. They hate teachers, dude. I mean, it's very clear that they hate them. And they don't want them to get any. We have the lowest paid teachers in the nation. And they're doing everything they can to not give them a penny more. They don't want them to have anything. They want to destroy public education. I mean,
we lost 1,000 teachers last year.
I know, they want us to lose them all. They want us to lose. Yeah, that's cool. Education begins at home, but you also want professors and teachers,
experts
that are experts in their fucking whatever they went to school for. These are experts. These are people who know what the hell they're talking about. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not all these things that these teachers are going to school to learn for they can teach others. Like the disrespect to teachers, man, is so goofy. And these people, education begins at home. Yeah, man, right. I mean, you a special ed student and you're going to teach your kids something better? When most Americans can't read at a fucking 6th grade level, you trying to tell me now that they can teach kids better? They can't even read themselves. But oh yeah, they're smarter than all the professors. They can tell them what to do and what to say because, they graduated 6th grade. Like people do, and it's getting worse.
Graduated high school with a 6th grade reading level.
Right. And sit around and tell people how they can teach someone the next generation. The next generation finna be dumb as hell. And already this last generation with Z is dumber than the millennials. And Generation X. Dumber. It's getting worse. You think people think they're doing something. They want us to all be like all Republican states and just straight up just horrible education. I don't get what we're doing, man. It makes no sense, G. I really don't. But Arizona is the lead, and we're doing everything we can to destroy public education in this state. And they're winning because the teachers are fleeing. They're not giving them any more money. The schools are closing daily.
They're going to Nevada and New Mexico.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't you go somewhere where people want you? Here, they obviously don't want them. They just want private schools. They want teachers that work for private schools and teachers that work for charter schools. Those teachers are fine. But everybody else, public school teachers, we don't want it. We don't care about nothing that you guys got going on. And we don't care about y'all kids. We don't care. Arizona proves that every day.
Every day.
Trash.
It does. It is. Moving on, in Texas, a Republican political candidate who has purchased property formerly owned by Jeffrey Epstein says that he plans to convert the ranch into a Christian retreat center. The proposal is already drawing national attention and controversy due to the property's connection to the late financier and the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Who cares? I don't care. His land can't be used for something else. I mean, it's just his land. But I mean, he's dead. They can do what the fuck they want to with the land, just like any other place. Should it be forgotten that dude lived there? It's like any other place where crazy shit is happening.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, some people, if it's murder, sometimes people tear it down, but sometimes people keep it up, and people live there, and the next people come in and live in there, and it's just a story that happened. So I don't think it's a problem. They can't control. I agree. That's the mission. It is planned. They want people dumb as hell, so they believe all the shit that they spew, and they won't go and do any research and figure out what the truth is. They'll definitely do that. They definitely will make sure that we're dumb as hell, and we're falling for it.
Yeah, we are.
America is falling for it. People are every day fighting and voting to be dumber, for less education. They vote against free education, free colleges. Kamala, she wanted to do that. She wanted to bring in free colleges, free community colleges. People voted against that. They ain't trying to hear that. Goofy shit, man.
Anywho, and across the country, the rapid construction of large-scale data centers is sparking a nationwide debate. Communities and regulators are increasingly concerned about the massive electricity use, raising the utility costs and environmental impact, while tech companies argue that the facilities are essential to support AI growth, cloud computing, and the digital economy. Meanwhile, the normal residents of the communities are left to basically cover the costs to operate their facilities.
It's pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna lie.
We're covering their infrastructure costs,
right? And here in Arizona and Phoenix, they're gonna keep building these fucking things, and then they telling us, and then all these companies in Gilbert today, they just voted to raise their electricity bills 25%. 25%, and the water bill, 25%. Two things that these fucking AI data centers are using an abundance of.
And then that's why APS is trying to get their rate hikes up to 14%, trying to raise the rates.
Right. Everybody's trying to raise the rates. So we're going to pay for these people.
We're paying more electricity.
We got to pay for these
our
rich
little bitty
people
homes
to pump their fucking data centers. Our shit got to be. And they say the energy prices is going to keep climbing. That this is just the beginning. Like, why are they being treated as if they should have their own power grid, their own way to power their buildings? It shouldn't be on us, and our bills shouldn't be going up because of these people. And then AI, we paying for it, and then AI is gonna do nothing but put everybody out of work. Like, this shit is like, it's man, this is crazy. They stealing from us, taking all our money, making all our bills more expensive, while also taking all our jobs and kicking everybody out of work. I don't understand how they think this is going to sustain, but it's this can't keep going. But they love it because they can fire a whole bunch of people and get rid of a whole bunch of people. I just don't understand why we think this is sustainable. All these jobs are going to be lost, and all this money is going to be out of the economy. And what do robots buy? What products do they buy? The only product that they're going to need is things that is energy.
Mm-hmm.
And to people to come in, fix the machines, fix the data. Those are good jobs. But all these other people that putting out of jobs, they used to buy things. What's going to happen? This is not good for the economy, man. I just can see this being something that is going to be very destructive for America. And you know these corporations, how greedy they are. They're going to go head first into this, firing everybody they can to replace so they can save some dollars. That's what I'm wondering. And they keep going. Like I said, all these billions of dollars is getting invested into AI. They're going to run. What's the ROI? What's the return on their investment? What is it going to be? Because it used to be, if you invest in a certain product, you invest in a certain infrastructure, that people are going to buy your products.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're firing everybody, who the hell's buying it?
Right.
If people don't have jobs, what's going to happen to the economy? Because, like I said, robots don't buy Milky Ways. They don't buy milk. They don't buy vegetables. Like, it's going to be a collapse, and this is not going to be good. But everybody, hooray, ha ha, here, yeah, AI. Now, like I said, man, there's good things in AI. And there's nobody saying that everything is bad. But this data farming, these data centers, all this data, you all have to figure out your own process, how to fucking get your energy, your water. You can't be just latching onto the city and the infrastructure that's already put in place for the residents. And if you do, then you are your places need to pay more for these electric companies. Hey, y'all need more data. Y'all need more energy. Y'all need more water. Well, y'all need to pay more money. The company should be, why are they asking us to pay 25% more? They should be paying 25% more. We're broke. We're already struggling. And here they come and taking more money from our checks so they can raise the energy prices for these data centers. The money you need to be getting it from them, because they're the ones that's using all the fucking energy. It's just, I don't understand how anyone could be for this, man. This is not going to help us.
And electric companies are all for it. Yeah, we get to raise the rates. Yeah, let's do it,
man. And this shit we're talking about, crypto. Do you understand how much energy is used from crypto? How many servers? How many processors? Like, it's so much. This shit is not sustainable. I don't understand what we're doing. And then right now we're all talking about all good, clean coal. We're going away from all these different ways to produce energy. Like, these data centers, they should, hey, y'all should be getting your own solar panels, Y'all should be running solar all through there. You guys should be doing water power to make sure that you're recycling the water in those data centers to make sure that the water is being reused.
That's what they should be doing.
Something, not just throwing the bills on the broke people.
Throwing it on the community.
They just keep voting, and the people
just keep voting for it.
Yeah, they keep voting. Yeah, the APS.
But we won't vote to raise the wages.
But no, won't do that. We're just gonna be broke. So it's dude. It's the billionaires making decisions. That's why we're doing it. It's insane. I agree. It's insane. What are we doing? What are we doing? You know they don't care about the community. And in Arizona, we don't even have. We barely have any water. Why are we giving all the water to data centers when we barely have water in the damn state? Period. The Colorado River is getting lower and lower and lower. What are we doing? I just don't understand. And like I said, man, they think that we're going to pay for everything, but people are going to be. You can't turn it off in the summertime because it's so hot. But in the winter, they're going to turn everybody's shit off.
Yep.
People are not going to have any power. People sitting in the dark because they ain't going to be able to afford the damn electricity bill. Just goofy. But whatever, man. Is that all of them? So it's sad what we're going through as a country, man. And we have people who want to try to keep us in the dark ages while telling us to not put any regulations against AI. How do we still keep talking about coal while building all these data centers that's using all of this energy? How does it make sense that we're talking about coal to power all these things? I mean, what are we thinking about? We're going to use 19th century power to try to energize a 21st century data center infrastructure that's powered by AI and all of the processing power and all the servers that's needed. And we're talking about clean coal. What the hell? What are we doing? If we don't come up, all these other countries in the world, especially China, they're killing it. They're killing it. Their infrastructure, they're trying their best to figure out ways to get off of coal, oil. Once they do that, man, we don't. It's so dumb. We're going around taking out countries for oil. It's stupid. Come to the 21st century, man. We know that we have different ways to get power. Why are we not using them? Why are we not building the infrastructure? We're falling behind, and it's dumb. We're falling behind because we have a president who wants to live in the last century. Yeah, I agree. There's no such thing as clean coal. You just can't put something clean in front of it, and it automatically makes it good for the environment. We've seen what coal has done. We've seen the black tar and the blackness that come from this shit, and we just sit around and act like it's not happening. But that's what we're getting. That's what we're in right now. That's the situation we're all in, and it's ridiculous. Now, I want to talk about something that's happened this week, and it's terrible because people are dead. But it's also a story in all these tragedies that happen because it's always a different fucking response when the people look different. When somebody has a darker skin tone, then the reaction to the murder is a lot different when the person has a lighter one. Now, I mean, it's a lot of people wish we stop talking about these things and just move on. You know how they do it. But these are the headlines that's going on. We want to start with something, that's a little deeper, something that sits at the intersection of tragedy, media, politics, and the narrative that the racists and the white right-wingers love to push. Because not every violent crime becomes a national political symbol. And when certain cases are elevated while others disappear, it's worth asking why.
Yep. Because reporting isn't just about the facts. It's about framing, emphasis, and the stories that society chooses to amplify.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is a wild one.
I mean, it's just how it is. And we see the power of individual cases, and we see how different cases are treated by who is the perpetrator of said crimes. Now, in modern politics, individual acts of violence often become more than a criminal cases. They become narrative. They become symbols. They become evidence in a broader ideological argument about cities, race, immigration, or governance. But there's a pattern worth examining. Some tragedies are treated as national crisis. Others remain local stories.
Mm-hmm. And that difference in intention can dramatically shape public perception of reality, not just because the facts change, but because visibility on the story changes.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to look at a couple different cases, man. One of the most discussed violent incidents in 2025 involved Irina Zarutska, a young Ukrainian refugee killed in a brutal attack on a Charlotte light rail train. And it was really a horrifying crime, terrible crime, man, a genuine tragedy. But we're going to talk about what followed. And what followed is where the broader conversations begin, because the case rapidly moved beyond crime reporting and into political messaging.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the incident was heavily circulated across national conservative media ecosystems, frequently framed as proof of systematic societal failure, not simply as an isolated criminal act, but as a reflection of a larger political theme.
Mm-hmm. Themes like urban disorder, soft on crime policies, decline of American cities. And once a case enters the rhetorical space, its meaning changes. It becomes less about specific individuals involved and more about the political story being constructed.
Yep, exactly. It's not new in American media culture that isolated incidents have long been used to represent sweeping societal conclusions. But
Mm-hmm.
selective amplification can distort risk perception. If viewers repeatedly see crimes fitting a particular narrative, they may believe that those events are more common than they actually are.
Yeah, man. And that's where the psychology becomes important, because humans are wired to generalize. From emotionally charged examples, one shocking incident can outweigh thousands of uneventful days, which makes tragedy an extremely powerful political tool, regardless of ideology. And we seen, man, in this situation where this girl was killed, and the first thing that was talked about is crime is out of control. We saw Elon Musk make a poster of the girl, put a poster up, and everyone was so upset about the situation, and I get it. But we see another girl from Ukraine. She's killed in a Valentine's Day murder by her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, when he killed the current boyfriend and her, and no one's really even talking about it like that. Not even brought up the right, just going with their life. But when it was the black guy killed her, it was the biggest story ever. Crime. These black people are out of control. Why was he let out of prison? Well, everything is everything. And it's ridiculous, man, the way things are treated. If you guys cared about the person coming to America and being killed, then this crime that happened to her should be just as big of a deal as the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the times we live in, where everyone is just looking for something that fits their narrative of evil,
Mm-hmm.
that fits their perspective of how they feel about a certain group. So they can jump on it and, oh, it was a black guy. Look, oh yeah, yeah. So it's ridiculous. And the evil of online and the evil of people online, how they jump on top of things. Oh, look, same person like always. Just ugly stuff, man. And the internet has brought out the worst of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And we see so many people, they are just gravitating toward this evil. and all of them out here just being racist and evil as they can be. And that's the new norm. That's what people are about. Let's be evil. Let's say things about people that I know I would not say in their face. But since I'm online, I have this protective shield around me. I can say what I want. And basically it's turned the world upside down because that's why we have the president we have. Because he's making moves by what he sees online and what people are saying online. And what people say online, they won't even say it in real life. But you have a
bunch of keyboard
right
soldiers.
You the tough guy behind the keyboard. Nobody sees you, and it's ridiculous. But violent crime becomes political language, man. Several shifts occur. Victims become symbols. Locations become metaphors. Complex causes become simplified explanations, and often structural problems get replaced with emotionally satisfying narratives. And people get caught up in who's black, who's white, what neighborhood, what situation. And people start looking at this situation and thinking, hey, all of these people are like this. Look at them. Yep. And it's just brings on the same old tropes and racist bullshit that we've been dealing with forever.
Yep, which could actually obscure other relevant factors like mental health, socioeconomic conditions, criminal justice policy, and randomness of the violent crime itself.
Mm-hmm. Now, we want to be clear, man. Discussing the narrative framing is not minimizing tragedy, man. We're not doing that. These things are tragic that happen, and I don't care what color the victims or the perpetrators are. It's craziness. But I'm just talking about, man, how they just select and pick what outrage they want to have. Mm-hmm. Now, I saw a murder that happened this weekend. It was unfortunate. But they went to a hockey rink, killed his wife and the son. But supposedly the guy who did the murder was trans. I don't know for sure because I haven't read any of that yet, but everyone's running with it that the person is trans. And now that's the joke. And everybody's just joking and making jokes and ha ha, he, key, because this person's trans. Fuck the people the victims. They're just joking and laughing and having a good time because the person was trans. And they're making all these trans jokes. Like, all these people, man, are disgusting, man. People are dead. People's lives are destroyed. And they're sitting online making jokes about, oh, the killer was trans. Like, it's disgusting. But that's the world that we live in now with the internet. And everybody just joins in being a piece of shit. Some really terrible people, man. And I hope that people feel good about themselves, that they sit online saying disgusting things about people. And it makes them feel better as someone trans. You know, we all hate trans people, so it was some trans person. But somebody else was a victim, though. And you're sitting around joking. I don't get it, man. But today, the online, that's why everybody's so desensitized to these things. They're minimizing these tragedies. They're making it okay because they hate trans people or they hate black people or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
It's just fucked up. And this
this person, in the case that you're speaking on, the guy apparently, according to his daughter, had a vendetta against the family. They're saying that he is a trans suspect. He's 56, Robert Dorgan. He fatally shot his ex-wife. And then the other victims included his daughter, his son, and there were 3 other victims, including Linda and Gerald Dorgan, who were the parents of Rhonda Dorgan. Both Linda and Gerald are currently still hospitalized in critical condition, according to Fox,
man,
in Rhode Island.
Yeah, sad, man. Sad situation. And like I said, we got people online making jokes about this shit. Dog, you're sick, David. I ain't gonna lie to you. You're a sick person, G. No one loves killers. You're sick to even write that you're sick. I hope you're AI, or you need to get some help. Because man, y'all just write anything, man. And that's the whole thing we're talking about right now. People are evil and they just say evil things online. Because you could put a fake name, not show your face, not show your address, and you could just say demented, evil shit. Just be a terrible person just to be doing so. And it's all, like I said, it examine how tragedy is used in public discourse, man, because violent crime is real, but so is political storytelling. And distinguishing between the two is critical for an informed society, something that they're destroying education for. We won't be informed and smart and be able to decipher their dumb shit from real shit.
Yep. And today's episode is going to continue that conversation, separating policy, perception, and rhetoric.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's sad, man, that we live in a time where everybody wants to act like they're so tough behind their keyboard and their computer. Like David, look at David. Tough guy. They're all so tough, man, behind their computers. But we know in real life they're the biggest fucking pussies ever. 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 The biggest weaklings ever. Got their lunch money taken every day. Every single day. But they be online talking big, talking tough. The biggest wimps ever. So we also want to talk about, man, the deficit, man. Why the U.S. budget gaps keeps growing under Trump's policies. What is going on, man? So we're going to run a couple videos, man, that's going to really get into exactly what we're going to be talking about here. First, let's play this video of the deficit of $3 trillion.
AURN News.
I'm Jamie Jackson. The Congressional Budget Office is projecting the federal deficit will grow significantly over the next decade. According to new estimates, the deficit, currently at $1.9 trillion, is expected to rise to $3.1 trillion by 2036. Now, the CBO says the deficit would equal 5.8% of the nation's gross domestic product in 2026 and climb to 6.7% by 2036. That would exceed the 3.8% average seen over the past 50 years. Now, the projections come as President Donald Trump and Congress face ongoing scrutiny over tax cuts and federal benefits that critics argue primarily benefit corporations and higher-income Americans. The CBO says rising net interest costs are driving much of the projected increase. For AURN News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
I'm so happy somebody came on here and said that dumb shit. Look, if Democrats had their way, there would be tax cuts. Those tax cuts for the rich would go away, which Bill Clinton took away. Obama wanted to, but knew he wasn't going to get it done. Bush put in tax cuts for the rich. Trump put in tax cuts for the rich. And you're talking about Democrats have their way? The money always goes, the deficit always goes up when Republicans are in office. The Democrat was the last person that had a surplus. Obama lowered the deficit. Biden was trying to get into it. Republicans get in and start spending like crazy people, while always out here pointing fingers, talking about what somebody else done. But let's look, his big, beautiful bill. Let's look how it will add to the deficit. Go ahead and play the next video.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, passed by Republicans and signed by President Donald Trump last year, will add $4.7 trillion to deficits through 2035. The Congressional Budget Office released its annual nonpartisan budget and economic update. The latest deficit projections for the bill are an increase to the CBO's estimates of $3.4 trillion to deficits through 2034. CBO Director Philip Swagel says, quote, increased debt service adds another $0.9 trillion, and then we account for the effects on the budget from macroeconomic changes to arrive at the total deficit impact of $4.7 trillion. The report also predicted Medicare costs to double over the next decade. The federal health care program for seniors will cost $1.1 trillion in 2026 as more baby boomers reach the age of 65. But by 2036, CBO estimates Medicare coverage will cost the federal government $2 trillion. Without legislative changes, the Medicare Trust Fund is likely to go broke before 2036. The CBO projection comes as the Bureau of Labor Statistics revised the official count of payroll jobs at the end of 2025 downward by more than 1 million. It's the largest revision in the past decade, suggesting hiring has not been as strong in recent times as previously thought. Average monthly payroll growth for 2025 was revised down from roughly 50,000 to 15,000. Trump fired the then BLS commissioner last year after a monthly jobs report that showed negative revisions to previous
She does.
Gross. Anyway, yeah, man. So we see what's going on. The deficit's going the wrong way. Jobs are going the wrong way. 1 million more jobs was lost last year than what they really stated. Last year, he was able to blame someone and fire someone, but this year he doesn't have anyone to blame. So they'll just kind of keep lying about the numbers and keeping the numbers laid. They'll do everything they can to make sure that you guys don't see how bad they're fucking up the economy. And it's bad. Yeah, man. The federal deficit, Trump's stupid ass tax cuts, his stupid ass tariffs, and the debt trajectory. It all has economic consequences. And we're going to see, man. Everybody sits around and they talk about how great everything is, but every time we all see the numbers and the numbers come back, the real numbers, and it's not good. Average person paid $1,000 into Trump's dumbass tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
The average household, all of us are paying for his tariffs. He's sitting around bragging how great it is that he's bringing in these tariffs while taxing his own people to get fucking products. It's crazy, man. They all told us that we wasn't going to pay for the tariffs. We all know. We all know the history. We all know what that was going to happen. We knew. But this is what they do. So we sit here and look and we see the tax situation and the deficit is going to be climbing to astronomical numbers. So, I mean, the discussion is about something that rarely dominates headlines, but quietly is shaping the entire economy. And United States budget deficit and why forecasts show it continued to grow under current whack-ass policies.
And more importantly, what's driving that growth, including tax policy, tariffs, and debt servicing costs?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and ground everyone first. The budget deficit is the difference between what the federal government spends and what it collects in actual revenue.
Right. And that's the thing. When these tax cuts are implemented and put into place, that is taking away actual revenue from the government. And people want to say, oh, we need to be tax less. Yeah, that's cool. But we're also spending a lot. We're also making a lot of trade deals. We're doing a lot of things that's spending a lot of money with a lot of different places. So if you're not bringing in revenue to make up for the money that is being spent, you go in the hole. And that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, we're trillions of dollars in the hole right now. I mean, and they keep talking about tariffs, but tariffs aren't going towards the deficit. They're just sitting somewhere. So I'm not sure what is going on, man. And then it's not even enough. Tariff money is not even enough to cover the deficit, to cover the amount of money that we are owed right now, that we owe right now. And when spending exceeds revenue, the government borrows. The government borrows. And this is how we get this fucking stupid ass deficit. Repeated borrowing that gets a continued repeated deficits as they accumulate into the national debt. We sit there and watch it grows, and we just sit here and watch it just double, triple, quadruple. And we just sitting here watching it and we're not doing anything. And we put in politicians who swear they're going to do something about it. get in offices and do the exact opposite. Republicans love to holler and scream about the deficit while the Democrats were in there. But when they get in office, somehow it's amnesia. Now they don't even care. They don't even talk about it. In fact, they start making excuses why it's okay.
Right.
It's weird.
Like they doing now.
And then when they get out of office, here they come again. Oh, look at the deficit. Democrats are spending like crazy. It's crazy. The Republicans are supposed to be the deficit hawks. That's what they call themselves. But every time they're in power, they don't do shit.
Exactly. And, that matters because debt carries interest obligations. And those obligations are among the fastest growing parts of the federal budget.
Mm-hmm. Which means money that could go toward infrastructure, healthcare, or education is increasingly going towards paying creditors. We see in Baltimore, they're having issues with sewage pipes. They don't have the money to pay for it. The federal government is supposed to come in and easily handle these things, but they're broke. They don't want to give any money up, and Trump doesn't care about anyone. So we're sitting there watching these things and watching as the infrastructure just falls apart. And we just steady giving money to rich people because they think, oh, the rich people will fix it. No, they don't care. They only care about where they are and what they have going on. They don't care about how rich, how poor people are fucking dying in the streets, how they're living in the streets, how the homeless can't afford anything. All these rich people we have in this country, they don't care. Only thing they care about is their pockets and their mission to get $1 trillion. Whatever, man. Last time we had a budget that was balanced was a Democrat, Bill Clinton. And why that came about? Because they voted to raise the taxes. Period, man. You got to raise the taxes on the rich, man. The billionaires have made enough. They've made enough money. I know you guys are always so much for them and you want them to make all the money. They have enough. We got all the richest people in the world in this country. They got almost $1 trillion. They got $500 billion. Like they have enough money, man. They're going to be okay. I know you guys are so worried about them. You hate poor people, but you live your life just doing everything you can for these rich people who don't even hire that many people. That's the crazy part. The Elon Musk, I think he got 150 people, 150,000 people he hired. That ain't that many people.
Small businesses hire the most.
Small businesses, larger corporations. It's craziness, man, that what we're doing, man. We talk about the most prosperous times in America, and it's the 50s and 60s. And these are the days that
taxes were the highest.
Were 90s, 80% for on these people who made over $1 million or $5 million. That's when the middle class had power. But we won't do anything about it. We're just going to keep on acting like we want to make America great again. But when was it great? It wasn't the 80s. It wasn't the 70s. The time was when it was the most racist. But it also was a prosperous time for people because you could get a house with a middle class income, middle of the road income. You can get a factory job and you can do something for your family. And both people wasn't even working. We got both people working in the home right now. Mom and dad got to work and we still can't afford mortgage. And we got all these people sitting around fighting for the rich to make sure that they don't have to pay taxes. We already give them tax breaks when they bring their companies to the cities. We give them tax incentives when they bring anything into any areas. They're getting tax breaks from presidents, tax breaks from the states, tax breaks from the areas. They don't pay shit. And we're steady just clamoring to give them more. What else do they need? Their private jets are polluting everything. Recent Congressional Budget Office's, man, forecasts paint a concerning picture, man. Deficits are projected to remain elevated and grow substantially over the coming decade. Just like we said.
But the key phrase from analysis is structural imbalance, meaning that revenue and spending paths are fundamentally misaligned.
That's real. He's already doing it with, man, come on, man. The no tax on overtime, it has its flaws. It's a decent bill. But there's flaws in the bill also because they put
But it's not it's not a permanent.
no, it's not permanent. No, it's not permanent. It's also because it put numbers in where you can't go over a certain amount, over what, 24,000 between the people. You could work a certain amount of way more overtime than that, but you can only go to a certain amount of money that you can take off. So it's not a great bill. Like they keep acting like it's so great, and like I said, and it is temporary. So it
ends when he leaves office in 2028.
Right. So I mean, it's maybe it's something that could be permanent. Maybe that somebody else could think about it. But man, the number one thing that needs to be done though is we need to be raising these taxes on the rich. The CBO attributes a significant portion of long-term deficit growth to tax policy decisions, man. Interest costs and demographic pressures. These are the things that people are seeing. The CBO reports about this. This is the Trump taxes are the biggest reason why we're going to see this big growth in the deficit. We talk about Trump era fiscal policy deficit because this is where the deficit story becomes politically and economically charged. One of the defining features of Trump's economic agenda, both during his first presidency and now, has been aggressive tax reduction, particularly benefiting corporations and high earners, like always. And these are the people that should be paying more, period. Now I want to go into this video real fast, the history of taxes up here. I'm going to tell a little bit about history of how taxes and, how do we get to this point?
In 1913, only the wealthiest Americans were required to pay income taxes. Yeah! During the years from 1939 to 1943, the individual income tax evolved from being a tax on just the rich into a tax on just about everyone. And here's why. In 1939, 4 million taxable returns produced $900 million of revenue for the government. To further fund the New Deal and World War II, they extended the tax to middle-income earners, and by 1943, the number of taxable returns climbed to 41 million, and the government's revenue was boosted to 13 billion. And with the growth in revenue, there's been a growth in paperwork. By 2013, Americans were spending over 6 billion hours and more than $160 billion on tax preparation.
Now, at first, as we see, only the rich were taxed. And as the revenue grew and the government got more greedy, they started going into the middle
Everybody
class
else
and then
to
the
be
poor.
Taxes.
But the main point of this is that we saw that it was for the rich, the people who made the most money. And it's always been a system that is skewed toward the rich paying more. And how in the last 40 years we have figured that we need to give them more money and just hope for a trickle down theory will work. It hasn't worked.
And what has happened?
They have gotten richer and richer and richer over the last 40 years than what we ever seen in the history of fucking America. Go ahead.
You're right, but supporters frame these cuts as growth engines, arguing that lower taxes would stimulate investments, wages, and business expansions.
But deficit math complicates this narrative, man. Tax cuts reduce government revenues. We saw through the history, the revenue is the main reason why these taxes were put into place, to fight World War II, to have the money to build the tanks and planes that we needed to be able to fight this war. But people were running to pay more because they were so pro-country, pro-America. But these tax cuts, that reduces government revenue immediately. Spending obligations do not shrink automatically. So that means that the deficit is growing higher and higher.
Exactly, which widens the deficit unless growth fully compensates it.
Mhm.
Something that historically has not occurred at the scale that has been promised.
Right. Exactly. Independent budget analysts repeatedly note that major tax reductions tend to increase deficits unless paired with offsetting measures. And usually, these Republicans never have anything to offset or to help to regain that revenue that they're losing from the cuts that they are putting in place. And under Trump's recent legislative directive, several tax provisions were extended or expanded, locking in lower revenue streams for years for the rich, helping them to be richer and richer and richer while we get poorer and poorer and poorer.
Which means that the government will collect less relative to the baseline projections while expenditures will continue to rise.
Right. Now we look at his tariff strategies and we look at the revenue realities.
Right. Exactly. Now, exactly. As you said, let's go ahead and address those tariffs. Another cornerstone of Trump's economic philosophy. Tariffs are often described politically as penalties on foreign countries, while in reality, they function primarily as a tax paid by the importer, you, the consumer.
Yep.
Frequently more expensive.
Yeah, that's all it did. All it did is made all your products more expensive. All the things that you got from countries that we don't grow or we don't produce, these things got higher. And he used these things as a battering ram, as a threat to other countries. Because he knows that if he puts a tariff on that product that's coming to America and that product gets too expensive, we're not going to buy that product. And that's why the countries get a little nervous, because they depend on Americans buying those products. But this administration argues tariffs generate revenue, but for whom? And it says it protect domestic industries, but how? Manufacturing jobs are being lost, less plants are being built. It seems that this is the opposite of what he states to us is going to happen.
Exactly. But, like you were saying, those tariffs do carry side effects, higher consumer prices, retaliatory trade measures, which we're seeing today, supply chain distortions, reduction in global competitiveness.
All the things that
everybody is pulling out of the American market. Nobody wants to do business with America anymore. So guess what?
Right.
We're not making any more money. We're not stimulating our own economy here at home.
So only thing you see is the stifling of growth that was going on as we was coming out of COVID. The things were starting to get back to normal. So far this year, we've seen slow growth, even in the market, that these people keep on popping up, and Pam Bondi saying $50,000. But right now it is slow so far, as it's been up and down market so far this year. And while the tariffs do generate revenue, most projections show they do not offset large-scale tax cuts. It's not enough money to offset the amount of money that the government is losing to be able to pay its own bills. It's like giving away money to people when you know you own bills, but you out here spending at the club. You turning up at the club, putting money in the strip club,
right?
But you know you owe money at the crib. But you steady giving breaks to your homeboys. Now the bills can't be paid, and we're trillions of dollars in the hole. It doesn't make any sense what we're doing. So you end up with higher prices and persistent deficits. That's what we're seeing right now. We have higher prices. We have seen a cooling of the inflation to mid-year inflation, 2.6. So it's getting to the spot where it's not getting to back to normal, but the normal shitty place that Trump had us in the first place. So you end up with higher prices and persistent deficits. A combination economists debate heavily. And it's going to end up in a bad situation where the deficit is going to balloon. Though, perhaps the most alarming component of all of this dumb shit that Trump has put in place with his big, beautiful bill is the deficit outlook is interest expense. It's going to get more expensive. It grows as we don't pay. A debt grows and rates normalize. Interest payments compound rapidly fast. This becomes dangerous because interest is not non-productive spending. It's not happening.
It's really not happening. I mean, and it doesn't fund services at all. It doesn't build any assets. It just simply finances past borrowing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not making any money. You're just barely trying to pull yourself out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even enough to even help you do that.
Right. And projections show interest costs potentially becoming one of the largest federal expenditures within the next decade.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it's all bad, man.
It is. But why deficits under tax cut strategies become sticky? Because deficits that are driven by tax reductions are particularly difficult to reverse politically. Once the cuts are enacted, reversing them becomes framed as a tax increase, which is politically unpopular.
Yeah. They say it's unpopular, but right now, these people are clapping as this guy is putting in tariffs everywhere. Those are tax increases. He's trying to offset revenue from somewhere else by increasing the tariffs that we are paying. Meanwhile, entitlement spending and defense commitments remain largely intact as we give billions to fucking Israel. So all these deficits persist, the debts rise, and fiscal pressure intensifies. And no one does a goddamn thing, and everything keeps going down the shitter. Who's gonna have the balls to raise the taxes like Bill Clinton did? You gotta be able to, and he was able to raise them and still win another term.
That part.
Bush raised them in 1991, and he said no new taxes. Read my lips. No new taxes. And his ass went in there and he had to fucking raise the taxes.
As soon as he saw all that,
he saw the fucking
books.
Deficit. He's like, I gotta raise the taxes, dog.
He saw them books. It was like,
this is fucking. It's common sense. Common sense, man.
Where the money at?
Common sense. He had to raise them.
Right. Because there wasn't any money to be had.
Right. I mean, you spent up everything. So Reagan, he was in there spending like a crazy person. Reagan, he spent up a lot of money, man. He was horrible. They blamed Carter for everything. Carter, that's why he was a one-term president, because they blamed him for everything that you can think of. The dude sold his peanut farm. He didn't have any fucking money that was coming out of being a president. Like this new guy's making money daily. Saw his sons on there talking about all the money they making. They're getting all type money from this fucking crypto. They want to make money off him putting his name on airports. Like they're trying to make money off everything. Fuck the emoluments clause. They don't care. They just gonna make money. Like it's ridiculous. The same people, these Republicans, and they kicked out Carter for these same things. But like I said, man, it's ridiculous how things been since the Reaganomics. Reaganomics was the beginning of the destruction of all of this trickle-down bullshit. And if current forecasts hold, the U.S. faces several long-term risks for these terrible policies that have been put in place. Crowding out of public investment, greater vulnerabilities to shock heavier interest burdens, reduced fiscal flexibility, and no fucking fiscal responsibility.
Exactly. And importantly, these effects accumulate slowly, which is why they often escape immediate political urgency.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
It's crazy because the deficit is not just about abstract ideology. It's about sustainability, stability, and economic resilience.
That's real, man. and the policies that we're putting in place is not anything that's going to bring any stability to the government, the deficit, the debt. We're just going to sit here and watch these things balloon for our kids, the future. I thought the Republicans were the fiscal hawks. What is going on? After 1 year of this guy in office, it is getting ridiculous. And regardless of political affiliation, the debt trajectory associated with these stupid ass tax cuts or limited offsets raises serious economic questions. And you all should be fucking pissed off about this shit instead of ignoring it like everything else when your guy is in fucking office. Hold this person to account. Why is Trump always not held to his fucking responsibilities? He said he was going to cut the deficit. He goes in there and he does the opposite. Does the opposite, man. Soon as he passed that bill, where's the Tea Party? Y'all said y'all was taxed enough already under Obama, but right. You got nothing to say as the taxes for the rich are lessened, and he's putting taxes on us with tariffs. And you're clapping. When the guy that tried to give you health care, you didn't want that money. You didn't want that. Dumb shit, man. Because deficits can be managed, debt can be stabilized. It can be if we want to put the revenue towards it. But ignoring structural imbalances historically produces painful corrections. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're heading for. A painful fucking correction.
Corrections that tend to impact ordinary citizens far more than the actual policymakers putting the policies in place.
Mm-hmm. And if this deficit growth continues along the path many forecasters suggest under Trump's fiscal philosophy, the long-term debt picture could become severe, restrictive, and economically destabilizing. Eventually, trade-offs become unavoidable. Not actionable, not optional, unavoidable.
Unavoidable. But we need y'all to stay informed, stay engaged. And if you enjoyed tonight's episode, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you'd like, go a step further and become a member.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Republicans create a false economy based off appeasing billionaires, while Democrats focus on the average person. But for some reason, man, Republicans are known as the party for the people. Somehow they can trick these people that they are for them. Somehow that they can keep on doing, they keep doing it. Democrats, I want to say that they do a horrible job of letting them know that they are the people for the poor, because they do so much stuff that are protecting these corporations. And people get mad at AOC who are trying to call out these Democrats who only care about money that they're getting lining their pockets, because there's some on every side of the fucking aisle. And these people aren't doing anything to try to get this money out of politics. That's why these corporations have so much power, because they have the money to grease these motherfuckers up. And everyday people, their constituents, they don't care about. Because they're getting money from these fucking corporations. And we're all sitting around pointing and fighting at each other while these guys take all the money and put it in their pockets. Yes, Biden was starting to lower the deficit. These are things that people don't want to realize, man, how bad that these guys are when they get into office. Thank you. We appreciate you. But it's something that we have to all pay attention to, man. Pay attention, man. Pay attention. Make sure you write to your congressman, your senator. Tell them how you feel about what's going on in your area. We really appreciate you guys sticking with us and staying with us on this Wednesday. I know it's you have a lot of stuff to choose from and a lot of stuff that you could be watching. But we appreciate you spending a few minutes with us, even if it's only a few of you. But make sure to hit the like button, man. We're always trying to learn, kick knowledge, and trying to like I said, we can learn together. Because I don't know everything. We're always trying to learn how we can be better as a country. But I know that fighting and yelling and calling each other lames and DEI hires is not the way to get to it. This new way of everybody's rushing to be the victim and everybody's rushing to be the person that everybody feels sorry for, but no one wants to do anything to help others. We got to switch that, man. We got to switch it up. I appreciate everyone, but have a good rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you on Saturday morning.
Right on.
Peace out.
Agreeing. Thank you.
Thanks for watching another episode of Habari Live. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get updates on news, the podcast, and more. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget to visit www.habarientertainment.com. See you next week. Peace.